Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. I'm your host, Mari Reisberg. Over the past several years, I've combined my degrees in acting and somatic psychology to share my sustaining creativity techniques with performers. And now I've decided to share it with a bigger audience that includes you. I believe we are all creative, and this podcast is all about that. I'll be interviewing people from all backgrounds, ages, and creativity experiences to share just how creative we all are. Today, I'll be chatting with Swire Ho, the promo guy. Please enjoy Swire Ho. Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. I am super excited to chat today with Swire Ho, hashtag the promo guy. Welcome to the podcast.
Happy to be here. How are you doing?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fine here.
Great. Wonderful. Well, I'm super excited to chat about creativity and to hear kind of your journey and how you ended up where you are today. But before we dive into that, why don't you just take a couple of minutes and let our listeners know a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Okay. Born and raised in Hong Kong, and I came to Los Angeles after high school. I wanted to be in the entertainment industry, but I don't play an instrument. So I actually studied to become a recording engineer.
Oh, wow.
My first entrepreneur journey, I was actually forced to be in business. On the day of my honeymoon, I found out that the company that I worked for at that time went out of business. So I was kind of forced to get into my first business, which I do CD and DVD replication. So we make copies of optical disc, if you're old enough to remember,
Yeah.
for record label and film company. Along the way, my wife became my business partner, and we're still married and still our business partner. Sold the business to a competitor in 2013, and we are now in promotional product business. So that's the long story short.
I love it. Promotional products. Can you say, like, for people who may not understand what promotional products are, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I like to clear up some of the misconception about promotional product. When people think about promotional product, they use the word swag, which actually stands for stuff we all get.
Yeah.
My approach to it is, what if not everyone gets, when we're thinking about creating a customer journey for people who want to be our mini advocates, promotional product can come in handy. And in the world that a lot of employees, a lot of team members are working remotely, a team building, you can also use promotional product and branded merchandise just to create that loyalty, to create that company huddle when you're doing a Zoom meeting. So different ways and creatively that I like to use promotional product to help people.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I like that it, has expanded past swag or what people might get in a gift bag or a tote bag, and to incorporate, more of that employee cohesion or connection as well. Yeah, I think that's a very creative twist on promotional products. So that's awesome. And when you think about creativity in your own life, what does it mean to you to be creative?
Yeah, I thought about that for a little bit. You throw me that question. And in my opinion, creativity is the ability to look at and understand a concept or idea that doesn't exist. And you turn that idea into reality. It's because I'm more of thinking about a product. So to me, creativity is, take an idea that is not yet exists, but then with what you can do and what you are capable of making it happen and you turning it into reality.
Nice. I really like that. Taking an idea and bringing it to life is quite the creative process for sure. And do you have any favorite products that have started out as ideas that you have brought into reality?
Let me give you a good example. When people are thinking about promotional product, pen will probably comes to mind. Everyone has the logo pen, which nobody really wants, right? So we all have a basket full of pen. So pen is something that people use swagged on a lot. It's giving a bad name, but then they're inexpensive, right? People love to buy them. But instead of doing that, if you are creative, you don't just want to give out pen, you want to actually create an experience. For example, if you're attending a book signing from your favorite author, for example, if you are the promoting company with a logo pen, you actually give it to the author, and every book that he or she signed will be on that pen. Do you think people will keep that pen? How would you think that people will value that pen instead of you just give them a pen whenever they're walking to your store? So it is about having that experience. You create that emotion so people can relate to the product that they receive.
Yeah, no, I love bringing that emotional aspect into it that people can connect to or create a story around and have a little more creativity in that experience. I like the author using the pen to sign their books, and people get to create a story around that. Yeah, I think it's a whole new way that I'm understanding products, and just from the little pieces that you've shared. Now, I imagine in the world of promotional products or in the other creative things that you've done, you have faced some challenges. How do you face creative challenges in your life?
Well, I like to, if I'm stuck, if I'm at the bottleneck for creating ideas, I like to listen, and I like to do a lot of browsing, to see the ideas out there. And I think I'm always a curious person, and I have two kids. I get a lot of ideas just by watching them because, I'm at the age that there's the age gap, with the younger generation.
Yeah.
But to stay current, I looked at, what kind of magazines that they do, what kind of websites they go to, what kind of platform they use, then I could stay current. And then a lot of us, it's just when we stuck on an idea because we've been in the industry for too long, we are conditioned to think like everyone else in the industry. If you brought an outsider, he or she can actually bring in a lot of new ideas, a lot of new creativity. For example, a few years ago, a lot of people want to dress like a trucker. They actually pay thousands of dollars to dress like a trucker or like an auto mechanics. All I have to do is just to show them a auto mechanic uniform catalog, and I'm in business. So it's just that little bit of mismatch, and then connecting the dots together can mean, a lot of creativity in business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that, being able to, what it sounds like, taking a step back and seeing the bigger picture and seeing where pieces fit together, or giving yourself that opportunity to get really curious about that. And curiosity is such a huge component of creativity. I think it's great. How do you keep your creativity alive, or your curiosity alive?
It just happened naturally. I'm the type of person that when you go to a dinner banquet, people sit and have a good time. I'm the type of person that looks under the tablecloth, see what's under there, what kind of frame that they use. It just, it happens. I'm like that when I was younger, and it still kept with me along all these years.
Yeah. Do you think there's something like in your life that has helped you stay curious, or is that just like, are your parents really curious? Did they model curiosity for you, or is this something that you just innately have?
I think I get into more than enough trouble being curious in school. People, when you're in school, a teacher likes student who answer questions, who go with the flow. I always ask curious, sometimes provocative questions that doesn't really fit into the whole teaching thing. So, but I guess once you are in the workplace, people actually encourage that. So I think that's we got to find a balance, because when you're young, you have a lot of creativity. If you talk to kids really small, when they talk, they have all kinds of ideas that sounds amazing. But as we get older, sometimes we get conditioned, or we are now more afraid to take risks. we're afraid to, try new things, then,
Mhm.
we kind of lose that creativity that, we used to have when we were younger.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Speaking of when we were younger, when you were younger, what's your earliest memory of being creative?
As small, as little as I can remember, I'm always running out and trying to do new things, trying to create something else. When people have dolls, I, have different ways to dress them up, pairing them around with different toys. So at a young age, I guess, I'm always curious and always want to create something new.
Yeah, I love that. I love that question because I think it gives a glimpse into someone's life as a kid. And it sounds like you really brought that into adulthood, the curiosity, just taking in the big picture. For people who may struggle to bring that curiosity or creativity into adulthood, do you have any tips or advice on how you've done it and that they might try?
Well, first, we have to accept the fact that there's no wrong in creativity.
Right.
If you create something new, there's no right or wrong. If you like it, that's fine. And we actually live in a world right now, and I think this is one good thing that happened because of the pandemic. Is now we are able to reach the entire world with just a Zoom call. If you think that you're weird, you're obscure, you're a niche, you're not. Actually, there are some people that are really weird. They have 1 million followers. If you do crazy things, now the more crazy you are, the more people actually wanted to reach out to you and learn more about you. So be willing to understand new idea and to try new things. If you want to start more, maybe pick up a new hobby. Just try
Yeah.
something new. Or maybe you don't like spicy, you try spicy one time and then see where it takes you. So I think it's just a matter of going out from the comfort zone, maybe just a little bit to start.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's an important reminder for all of us, even people who feel really creative, to continue to get to that edge of our comfort zone where creativity really comes alive. And speaking of the pandemic and just life in general, we all have kind of everyday challenges and issues that we navigate. What are some of the everyday issues you've had to use creativity to solve?
I think it's just to keep up with how people wanted to be connected, because
Mm,
before I like to go to in-person networking. I like the firm handshake and then seeing, people from eye to eye. But depending on where you are right now, you might not have that opportunity. So I think, it's an adjustment. I know for myself and a lot of people to be on a Zoom meeting, but you and I are not able to connect. It worked for all this virtual meeting. You were now able to connect. We're in different state and we're sitting down and having an engaging conversation. So I think there are new ways to communicate, and then always be on the lookout and try new things, try a new platform. Now with Clubhouse, you can actually go on and just talk, without seeing your images. There's actually a
mhm.
big group out there. There are obviously other platform up and coming. So try new things, see what works best for you.
Yeah, that's a great reminder that there are new platforms and being able to try them and find out what works and what doesn't. And yeah, solving those little everyday challenges with some creativity and paying attention to that. Well, understanding the trajectory that you have had in business and now that you are now working in products, I'm really curious what inspires you in your life.
What inspires me is knowing that I have the ability to look at something that if I don't know the answer, there are helps out there.
Mm,
Because there are
mhm.
people. It took me a long time, and I think I still wanting to grab on it is to understand the fact that there are always going to be people who are smarter and better than uh, you in what you do.
Mhm.
Are you able to really be humble to ask for advice? There are so many
Mm,
podcasts out there right now. It's very helpful podcast. You can learn a topic that you know nothing about
yeah.
in maybe listening to a few podcasts. There are a lot of people sharing useful YouTube video. You can learn anything really, just go on YouTube and, type in something very obscure and there's someone already doing that. So I think it's more than ever that there are a lot of inspiration out there. It's just to find the right media that are right for you and then to learn something and try something new.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I love all of that to, really try new things. That seems to be a theme. Do you yourself try new things all the time?
Yeah, all the time. I'm too many hobbies and too little time.
What are some of the things some of the new things that you try or that you are wanting to try?
Well, I love fitness. So fitness is a big part of me. I like the routine in fitness. So I'm a kettlebell instructor. So I do kettlebell. I like fitness and I do, get up early in the morning and do my routine. I tried disc golf, when the pandemic is, it's like golf, but then you use a frisbee disc and you throw that into a basket. So that was fun for me. And actually I found a lot of networking opportunity. There are actually groups that you join with other individuals and you go on a disc golf and you actually talk business at some point. And I also find out from my kids that there are actually another networking group that we play video games. We play Call of Duty. So there's a lot of downtime while the game is loading, and there's a lot of teamwork because you have to work as a team to, hunt the other, opponent, right? So there's teamwork. Then you actually talk business or get to know each other better, whenever there's a downtime or loading. So I found all this crazy unique situation for networking because I always want to go out and network, but then not physically in-person networking, but I'm finding so many new opportunities online, offline, to network. And that's really fun for me.
That's amazing. I mean, I would never have thought that going and playing disc golf would be an opportunity to have a networking business meeting, but right. I guess anything's possible. I think that's fantastic. Yeah. I think, the ability to network in new ways and try new things. And you brought up earlier, trying a spicy food if you haven't before. And that it sounds like in your life, you're really open to trying new things and having new experiences. For people who are maybe a little more cautious, what are some ways that you are comfortable trying new things that might help someone?
Because think about, bringing a new perspective to whatever that the challenges that you may facing. You might say, I really tried everything and anything possible to solve the problems that I'm facing. But then if you talk to the right person, that they are able to solve it with one click, right? Literally one click, and then your problem is gone. It's maybe you have not, talked to enough people and you have not, ask your question and put it out there. And there are a lot of helpful people, good and bad. You get tons of ideas. And I would say in the world that we live in right now, you cannot not have any idea if you ask for it. You can get more feedback, more idea that you can think of. And then you can pick out a certain direction, right? Certain trends that you can see. And then that's how you can find out more and dig deeper and ultimately find the solution that you're looking for.
Nice. Great tips and good reminders for people who may feel a little more cautious about, putting themselves out there or trying to solve problems or get some more ideas. Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, it's been such a treat to chat with you. I just have one last question. What does it feel like in your body to be creative?
It's just having the confidence and knowing that, with the knowledge and skills that I have, whatever that problem might throw at me, I can find out and be able to say, I can give you the solution because I am a creative person that are able to find, what you're looking for, even if it does not exist as of today.
Nice. I love it. Well, thank you so much for chatting. And if people want to learn more about the promo guy and what you do, how could they go about doing that?
Thank you so much. if you wanted to Google me, just Google my first name, Swire Ho, hashtag the promo guy. You'll see a lot of the things that I do. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so love to connect with you. And I have sent Mary the resource that I provided for the podcast, some useful information if you wanted to learn more about how to use promotional product to help the goals and ideas that you have. And, I just like to talk, and I'm curious to learn more about what you're up to. So feel free to reach out to me.
Perfect. Wonderful. I will add all of that to the show notes. And thank you again for taking the time to chat with me. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. We'd love to keep in touch, so follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Sustaining Creativity. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Tag your friends and family so they can listen too. We love to hear from you, so leave your reviews, comments, and questions. Check out our website, sustainingcreativity.com, for upcoming offerings and creativity coaching. Tune in Tuesdays for our next episode. And remember, with creativity, anything's possible.